Hello and welcome to Same But Different Reviews. And guess what, bitches? It's just me again. Sorry. Derek is unfortunately sick. Sick as a dick. Sick as a dick on a brick. So he will not be joining me today, although we might hear from him later, potentially. We are going to review SALTBURN. We decided to do a new movie. It's a new year. We decided to just kick it up a notch and change things. We just chose a movie, and it's going to be SALTBURN. So I think we should hop right into the review. If you haven't seen it, there will be spoilers, but not so heavy that it's going to ruin the movie for you. I'm not going to talk spoilers that are pivotal to the plot of the movie, just kind of individualistic spoilers. So it's up to you if you want to watch or not, but let's dive right into it. I don't know how to. I don't know how I'm supposed to review a movie like this. I have no idea how to navigate this. I watched it yesterday. Every single scene of this movie is still inside of my brain. Whether I liked it or not, that's irrelevant. It's stuck. Some of the scenes felt a little bit unnecessary, and in turn it added to the runtime, obviously, and the runtime was a little bit too long. Just a little bit too long for what they were trying to get across. It could have been hovering at around close to 2 hours. Instead, they went over to about 2:15. I don't think it needed that. This movie was a gothic sexual mind fuck of a time. So if any of those words perk up those nips, you should probably watch it. Who would have thought a movie that contained somebody slurping bathtub water filled with semen in it, oral sex while the woman is on her period, and a man grieving and having sex with a grave would have been a movie that entranced me the way this movie entranced me. But all that aside, here I am. Things like that in movies would normally send me running for the hills. It kept my attention. It kept me intrigued. I don't get it myself. I feel dirtier having watched this movie, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm very confused and perplexed about my feelings. It's like it's a vampire movie, but there's no vampires in it. That's kind of how this movie felt. It's really, really strange. Now, I fell in love with Emerald Fennell's Promising Young Woman, because Saltburn's only her second movie. Promising Young Woman was her first, and it was my favorite movie of 2021. I adore that movie. And this one, it attempted to hold a candle to it. For all intents and purposes, this movie was technically brilliant, but the candle just didn't burn, Saltburn, burn. Quite as bright as Promising Young Woman, in my opinion. Emerald is finding her footing. This is only her second movie as writer-director, and I have high hopes for her. She's a director I'm going to be on the lookout for moving forward. But this just felt like a sophomore movie. It didn't quite hit the nail right where the head needed to be nailed hit, That being said, aside from the content of this movie, I don't have a lot bad to say about it, aside from the content and how long it was. The cinematography was stunning. Soundtrack. The soundtrack was a bop. There were some great songs in this movie. I only wish Mr. Brightside actually had use other than them singing one line and it cut away. It would have been cool if it then cut into the song as they were driving. That would have been pretty cool, but whatever. I'm not Emerald Fennell. The screenplay was so intriguing. It never told you exactly what was going on, but it didn't feel like you were so in the dark that you were left out or frustrated, because you didn't really need to know what was going on. Everything that developed was just kind of a cherry on top. You just got more and more interested the more and more unfolded. Also, I just want a quick shout out to the screenplay. It was so refreshing to see a movie about a wealthy family not focus on how ugly and bad rich families are. This movie had a really interesting narrative that told you that rich people in fact have feelings too. They're also people. It made you feel for them. And then as the movie goes on, more so. And it's so easy to make a movie about, the class system and how bad rich people are. And I'm always in for it because I'm a poor boy and I'll always hate the rich. That's how it goes. But it was refreshing to see this kind of movie. It really was. All of the acting was incredible. I don't think that should surprise anybody with the talent attached to this. Every single person was a delight to watch. There were some names I've never heard, faces I've never seen, but every single person on screen at one point or another killed it. I didn't think I was going to like Jacob Elordi. I've never seen him in anything, and I just wasn't expecting much, but he did a really good job. But the obvious shining star of the movie is the shining star of the movie, and that was Barry Keoghan. Holy Christ. Oh my God, what a captivating actor. Incredible. I've been watching him since, I think Dunkirk was the first thing I saw him him in, and he's just been on the up and up for me, from Chernobyl into Banshees of Inisherin. I love this man, and this movie just solidified how fucking fantastic of an actor he is. Be on the lookout for him. Plus, there was a cameo from Carey Mulligan, who was the star of Promising Young Woman. You know how directors like doing that, so that was fun too. It's a weird time. This movie's a weird fucking time. There's no beating around that bush. It just feels weird. And when it was over, I struggled to know how to feel. I loved what I watched, but I didn't know if I enjoyed the movie. I know that sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but it makes sense to me, so hopefully it makes sense to you as well. So I'm a little torn here on how to review this, and honestly, I think the more I sit with this, the higher it's gonna climb. I feel like this movie might end up being better than I'm giving it credit for right now, but I need to sit with it because it's not just a movie you watch and you can review. You have to sit with this movie. It's bonkers, nuts, bananas, bro. So it might go up, but for now, I'm going to give this movie 7 teddy bears out of 10. That's what I thought of the movie. I think we should quickly just hop over. Let's see what Derek thought of the movie. Shall we? Squish. That was my transition noise. Squish.
Well, hello. Happy to interrupt this little review to give a little bit of my own input. These are my notes on the movie on a napkin. I'm probably going to sneeze into it later. Here we go. What I thought about Saltburn. This movie was a treat. I think it was one of the better movie-going experiences. And I say movie-going, I didn't go anywhere. I just sat on my couch and watched it on Prime. But it was the better movie-going experience I've had this year. It was surprising and it was very good. The acting was incredible across the board. Everyone did fantastic. I'm yet to be sold on Jacob Elordi. He only ever plays that character. Give him something else. I haven't seen him in Priscilla, but I'm guessing it's the same, just like this tall, pretty boy, stoic, charming dude. Special call out to Rosamund Pike. We all know that she's good, but she was hilarious in this movie. So funny. And I strongly believe Barry Keoghan, however you pronounce his name, I strongly believe that he will at least be nominated for an Oscar, if not win it. It'll be a tough case between him and Cillian Murphy. The script, the story, phenomenal. Like, there have been a lot of movies lately that have been kind of like eat the rich, class system satire stuff, but this just felt so fresh, and I don't know what it was. And it's definitely the execution, the direction, and the cinematography and the acting, everything put together just made it feel so much different than anything we've seen before. It goofed me twice. First and foremost, I mean, this is a little bit of a spoiler. I promised not to go too much into spoilers. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but for the first little bit of the movie, I was convinced that it was going to be the rich folk that were bringing him home to do messed up things to him. And I think that's where the movie was trying to lead you. And then the final twist and reveal at the end, that got me too. Reminded me of Usual Suspects. Each character was incredibly unique, not only in style, but in emotion and what they wanted, what they needed. And that's what's supposed to be in a movie. Each character is supposed to have their own individualities and physicalities. They were so very separated from each other that you just could identify each character based on what they looked like, based on how they talked. It was very, very, very refreshing to see. I was captivated from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, which is strange for me to say because the first thing I noticed was that the frame rate was 4:3. Now, I'm part of the group of people that think changing the aspect ratio back to a 4:3 for art's sake is kind of silly. We've moved past that. We've gone to bigger and better things. 4:3 is a thing of the past. However, if done correctly, in my mind, that is to serve a purpose in the storytelling, then it's definitely useful. It was executed very nicely in this. Not only does it take place in 2006, 2007, where 4:3 was still around, this movie was beautifully shot, and it was like every shot was a painting, and because we weren't looking at landscape paintings, so to speak, we were looking at portraits of people. It worked a lot better as a 4:3 to view portraits of people. And the cinematography and direction, incredible. Yeah, it was a fun ride. It was like a fucked up adult fairy tale, and you're gonna hear a lot, like I did on TikTok and other reviewers, saying that it's messed up and cringy and uncomfortable in a lot of parts. And to that I say, watch more movies because it wasn't that bad. Yeah, there are some weird parts in it, but I've seen so much worse. Let me tell you, the weirdest part, the most uncomfortable part in this movie, come here. It wasn't the bathtub scene. Come here. It wasn't the period blood. It wasn't the grave scene. No. None of that. It was when nobody knew his name when they sang happy birthday to him. I just got the heebie-jeebies watching that part. That was so awkward. The third-party embarrassment I suffered during that brief moment, ugh, that bugged me more than anything else in the movie. The one and only flaw that I found with this movie is that I wanted to know more about Oliver Barry Keoghan's. I wanted more context for his mental state. I wanted more context for his background and how he operates. Anything to give us a little peek into who he was or how he came to be and why he's like this. Because otherwise it's just completely utter chaos, which I get might be the idea. And we have other characters like that, like the Joker, which is funny because he's playing the Joker in the Batman. Is Saltburn a prequel to the Joker? I really like this movie. I'm going to give this, could be convinced to be higher the more I think about it. Because it's another thing. It hasn't left my mind since I stopped watching it. 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 bathtubs out of 10. Let's say that. Please go see this movie if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. I'm sorry for my lack of energy. New year, new me, you know? Thanks for listening to my review. Brody, take it away. We'll see you next week.
All right. Cool. It's wild that he either liked or didn't like it that much and felt those things about it. Wow, what a review. He's not recording his until tomorrow or something, so I don't actually know what he just said. I have no idea. But I bet it was well thought out and smart thinking Abe Lincoln, because he's a smart guy. Anyway, did you like Saltburn? I know it's kind of going viral all over the internet right now. People everywhere seem to have seen it, so I have a feeling you've seen it too. So let us know what you thought. I would love to hear your reviews. I'd love to hear if I'm crazy for being so unnerved yet also loving it. It's just one of those movies that's come out recently where it's so mixed. I've heard glowing 10 out of 10s and I've heard 1 out of 10s. This is hogwash. So I'm just very curious. I think critically it's doing pretty well, but I know audiences everywhere are torn. I'd love to hear what you thought. So tell me. And while you're telling me, like, follow, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff means the world to us. And I would just appreciate you to the ends of the earth. Okay, happy holidays, happy new year, merry everything, take it easy, adios, see you soon, bye bye folksy woksies, see, catch you on the flip flop side, bye, see ya.
Apple bottom jeans, boots